murder. The long-delayed bill to create a Hillsborough law. Police investigating the death of Anne Widdecombe say they aren't looking for anyone else as they question a 28-year-old on suspicion of murder. The long-delayed bill to create a Hillsborough law will return to Parliament next week. Brendan McCollum has been sacked as the England Test cricket head coach. And
in his simple, undecorated wooden coffin, Pope John Paul II was carried by his pallbearers into the square.
The former BBC correspondent David Willey, who over the course of decades filed countless stories for this bulletin from Rome and the Vatican, has died. Police investigating the death of the former Conservative minister Anne Widdecombe say they're not looking for anyone else after arresting a man in South Yorkshire last night. Miss Widdecombe was found dead in her home in Haytervale in Devon on Thursday. Our South West England correspondent Jenny Kumar reports.
Flowers have been laid in the small rural village of Haytervale where Anne Widdecombe lived for 20 years. As people process their grief, they're absorbing the news that a second arrest has been made. The 28-year-old man was detained last night in Rotherham, 260 miles away from where the former MP was killed. The Assistant Chief Constable of Devon and Cornwall Police, Matt Longman, gave an update on developments at a news conference this morning.
At this point, there is still no information to suggest that this is a terrorism-related incident, and at this point we are not looking for anyone else in connection with this murder. We retain primacy of this investigation, and detectives remain open-minded about the potential motive. At this stage, there is nothing to suggest it was politically motivated.
This has been a fast-moving investigation. Yesterday, police announced a 26-year-old white British man from the local area, arrested on Friday, had been released and was no longer part of the investigation. Detectives also revealed that they believe Miss Widdecombe was found 24 hours after the fatal attack. A huge police presence continues in the village and is expected to stay in place for a few more days. Detectives say they have no information to suggest any wider threat to the public.
The Hillsborough law is expected to be approved by MPs when legislation returns to the Commons this week. The government has dropped plans for an exemption for intelligence officers to comply with a duty of candour. The legal responsibility for transparency for public officials could become law by the autumn. Our investigations correspondent Daniel De Simone has more.
The Hillsborough law follows campaigning by families affected by the 1989 football stadium disaster. Police leaders spread false narratives, blaming Liverpool fans, and withheld evidence of their own vast failings. The new law will force public servants to tell the truth, creating a duty of candour with official investigations. There will be criminal sanctions for breaches. But campaigners wanted MI5 and MI6 officers to be fully covered by the proposed law. A government amendment would have given intelligence chiefs the right to decide whether to cooperate with public inquiries. Opposition from campaigners and MPs led to the bill being postponed in January, and it risked not passing into law before Sir Keir Starmer leaves office. But the amendment has now been dropped by his government, meaning the bill will return for its final common stages on Tuesday. The Hillsborough Law campaign says the government has conceded there will be no exemptions for the security services, something confirmed by government sources, saying this marks a big step towards ensuring that no family has to fight for decades for the truth.
The United States has insisted that traffic is flowing through the Strait of Hormuz after Iran said it had closed the vital waterway until further notice. American forces launched another round of airstrikes on Iran overnight in response to it hitting a ship passing through the strait. Tehran responded by targeting Gulf countries. In football, England fans are making their way from Miami to Atlanta for Wednesday's World Cup semi-final. The Three Lions will face Argentina after Lionel Messi's side beat Switzerland